We've come here with members of the generation with whom we formed the ANC Youth League in KZN during a very difficult time. It was necessary for us not to pay tribute to Comrade Nathi from a distance, but to come to his home, where he was born, where he was raised, so that as a generation, it's not all of us, because the generation is larger than us, but we are here representing those with whom we started, we revived the ANC Youth League in 1990. There are many others who are still going to come, but I am sure I speak for all members of our generation as a former president of the ANC Youth League when I say we have been dealt a fatal blow. We are deeply, deeply hurt by what has happened. And we never imagined we would speak of Comrade Nathi in the past tense. But be that as it may, it is necessary now that we should unite as a country and prepare to accompany him to his final resting place, to celebrate his life and ensure that we tell his story in the manner that we know best, because we grew up with him. We know who he was, we know what he stood for, and we know what were his dreams and ideals for South Africa.
Dr. Gigaba, after you've interacted with the family and having spent time with them and knowing the late ambassador, I'm sure you're aware of the lots of discussion about what could have possibly caused his death. As someone who would have been with him in the trenches, what is your sense about how the family is doing and also what they believe to have been the cause of his death?
I think that his wife, his brother-in-law and the family as a whole have handled this situation with great sensitivity, with great dignity and honor, befitting of the man who has passed away. We do not want to get involved in the speculations about what happened. We, for now, believe what has been told to us. We know who Comrade Nathi was, but in the absence of any alternative information, we have to go with what has been told to us. We know that the rumor mill, the disinformation mill is also working very hard to ensure that they spread as much disinformation as possible, probably to create confusion about the situation in which we are. But our focus now is to lay Comrade Nathi to rest, to comfort the family, to ensure that the family has as much support as is possible, so that they are able to go through this moment and carry this heavy burden not on their own, but enjoying the support of the country, particularly of those who worked with Comrade Nathi and knew him best.
How should the ANC Youth League going forward remember, Ambassador Mthethwa as someone who played a pivotal role, as you've mentioned, in forming the ANC Youth League in KwaZulu-Natal, and given the state of the organization, not just the ANC Youth League, but as a movement?
Comrade Nathi was a builder. He was involved in rebuilding the ANC Youth League after decades of exile and banning. So the ANC Youth League must remember him as a builder. They must remember him as a political educator. He didn't believe that the struggle must be led through streetwise knowledge. He believed that we needed to immerse ourselves in the deep knowledge of the struggle, the theory of revolution, in order for us the better to lead our country. And that is why he was involved in political education. Comrade Nathi was an organizer. And as an organizer, he didn't satisfy himself in flying among the leadership, but he toiled among the ranks, was able to lead from the front and also to follow from behind, to lead from behind. He was a servant leader, because organizers are people who don't just want to occupy the elite positions, but are always comfortable in occupying the backward trenches and follow, so that they marshal everyone in going forward. So the ANC Youth League must remember him as an organizer, but the ANC Youth League must also remember him as a modest person who did not mind what position he held in society. Whatever position he was given by the ANC, he served that position with the utmost diligence. He served it with great devotion. And so, as young people, they need to ensure that they also do not prioritize high positions. Whatever position you are given by the movement and by the country, you must serve that to the best of your ability with greatest devotion and ensure that our country is taken forward. I think Comrade Nathi is happy wherever he is, that South Africa is a step forward from where he found it. And that should be our greatest preoccupation as people and as various generations.
He was very generous with his knowledge. Your generation would recall that you are beneficiaries of his knowledge that he shared with you. But most importantly, many people may not be aware that he prioritized issues of youth and women emancipation in particular.
Indeed, he was. He was an all-rounded cadre of the ANC who believed not only in youth and women, but he also believed in championing the cause of the working class, the rural poor, and the unemployed. And that is why, if you look at his experience, it straddles all of those categories. He was found among the workers as a trade unionist, among the unemployed as the founder of the Unemployed Workers Union in KZN. He was found among the rural poor as himself a child of the villages and rural areas. So he was able to straddle all these strata and yet be comfortable among the ranks as he was among the leadership.
One of the things that is not most spoken about is his activities when it comes to underground movement and activities of the ANC. Would you like to see that history being told properly?
Of course, we are still to tell the full story of what Comrade Nathi was, the role he played in the struggle, and all the activities in which he was involved. Because at the end of the day, history has no blank pages. All of us have had to do things for this struggle that sometimes are unknown. As we talk of Comrade Nathi today, many people are not aware of his role in the underground, of his role in supporting cadres of the ANC. At one stage, he traveled all the way to Mpumalanga province to support MK members who had been arrested. The funny thing is that when they themselves got arrested in the cause of coming to support those who had been arrested because they were trying to assist in ending political violence in KZN, he gave the police a wrong name. So when they were called in the morning to be released, they spent a long time because he had forgotten what false name he had given the police. And so it took time for them to be released until comrades had to remind him that, hey, Comrade Nathi, you had said that you are so and so. And that's the person who has been called. And they couldn't also get their vehicle released because it had been registered under that false name. He was that person. There are, heroic stories to tell about him, but there are also light stories to tell about who he was, what a sense of humor he had, what a jocular person he was, and therefore we need to tell his full story over the coming days. And everybody who knows their little story about him, who had personal anecdotes with him, should come forward to tell those stories so that we remember him in full.
In the end, he was a political leader, and his legacy will be a subject of intense scrutiny and debate. It will be a subject of history. How should history remember him?
History must remember him as a devoted revolutionary, as a revolutionary intellectual, as someone who dedicated all his life to the cause of our people. And history must remember that as a human being, he himself had his faults. And in the cause of, he was not an armchair revolutionary, because only armchair revolutionaries don't commit mistakes. As someone who was involved in the day-to-day nitty-gritty of the struggle, whether in the movement or in government, indeed he committed mistakes, but those mistakes we must write them on water and write all his heroics, carve them on stone so that they are never forgotten. Use his life experience, like all of us, to be a lesson to how people should conduct themselves in the struggle so that we are able, the better, to inform those who come after us.
All right, Dr. Malusi Gigaba, remembering the life and times of the late Ambassador Nathi Mthethwa. He was here as a part of an ANC delegation to come pay tribute to the family of Mthethwa and to remind the family of who he was, especially during his tenure in the ANC Youth League, and how he should be remembered by those who have come after him. Katlego.
That's Ziyanda Ngcobo out in Ngcobo, bringing us the latest there.